Okay. All right. So we're live streaming to the right group. Sorry, I had a bit of a technical issue where I was live streaming to my my public page, which I'll have a look at that later. So welcome everyone to, this will probably be the second last masterclass for 2022. We've got next week and then we're going to have a week break over the Christmas break. And we'll probably put recordings, or there might be a different timetable, but it'll be a different timetable for that week for my live sessions. So today I wanted to do something fun, something to celebrate Christmas. And so it's how to create miracles. And so when I think of Christmas and we think of the Christmas miracle, however you like to take that on board, I just thought it would be fun to talk about miracles, because there's probably been a time, and maybe you're at that time right now, where you feel like I could really use a miracle right now. I could really, really use some divine intervention. So I want to break down and talk to you about what is a miracle and how can we get in the right structure to create miracles or a miracle mindset in our life. So I've actually, before we start, as I'm waiting for some other people to join, is that I've got an essential oil here called Fragonia. So that's Fragonia. And Fragonia is a beautiful floral essential oil. And its sole reflection is that you are a miracle. And so that's the essence and the vibration, the frequency of that oil. And that's what I'm bringing into this container today, that frequency of Fragonia. And the sole reflection for everyone who's listening live and or listening to the replay is that you are a miracle. So let's start with that premise. And as we talk more about it in this session, you're going to understand more how you are and how you can create a miracle mindset. So, so that is Fragonia. And the other thing I did before the session is I pulled a card from the Mystical Wisdom. See, there's one beautiful artwork in these cards. Mystical Wisdom card deck. And the card that came out was Enlightenment, which I think is quite perfect for this topic. Perfect to understand a little bit more about what is capable. And we, as humans, we are on a journey to enlightenment, which may take many lifetimes, it may take many transitions, but our spiritual journey is one to move towards enlightenment. And that, just to give you some information, and this may be helpful at the end of the session, you have come into your own and are in search for something more meaningful to add to your life. Now is the time to meditate, deliberate, self-evaluate. Withdraw voluntary from the world to seek truth and solitude. And the mantra is, I search for wisdom and mental clarity. So when we're in a miracle mindset, yeah, thank you, Margie. It is a beautiful card. Those Mystical Wisdom cards, which are from, who's the Gay Guthrie. They're really lovely, and the artwork is just so intricate. When we're in a miracle mindset, we actually have a greater understanding of our journey to enlightenment. So as I started the session talking about that, we've been in that place where it's like, I could really do with a miracle right now. Something, and coming from that place is the premise when we say we could do with a miracle, or we need a miracle right now, is we've actually, given our power away, because we have decided, or coming from the place that we need divine intervention, or this challenge in front of us is greater than ourselves and we need something outside of ourselves. We need something outside of ourselves to to come in and save us or help us. So we're coming from the premise that it is beyond us. So sorry, I'm just bit of a scratchy throat. It sounds worse than what it is. So A Course in Miracles, and I think I showed you the Course in Miracles book. If not, I will do it again because we had a bit of a false start. Course in Miracles, it's not that we're going to do too much with that text today, but they have, I believe, the Course in Miracles definition of what a miracle is the best one. It basically says A Course in Miracles calls a miracle such a change of beliefs and a change of perception from a false one to the correct one. So the correct one is unlimited, and we're coming from the perception of the unlimited. We're coming from the perception of the superconscious, which is unlimited. So in simple terms, the Course in Miracles describes a miracle as simply a change in perception. So when we say we need a miracle, we are often coming from that place where the belief is out of our control. We believe that this issue is out of our control. We believe that there is something that is impossible. So our self-conscious, our unconscious, has created a rule structure that has said that there's only limited amount of possibilities that I can do, and a miracle would be beyond that structure. So that's why when we think of miracles, we think, we've come to the perception that maybe it's impossible. Like, many of us believe in miracles, but so there's some people that just go, no, there's no such thing. And there's other people like myself that think, yes, miracles are absolutely possible. But to make them true and authentic, and when we come from our sovereign being, when we're on our journey to enlightenment, it's to know that a miracle is a shift in perception, and it's coming from the higher mind. So the self-conscious, so what has happened? So what prevents us from having a miracle is the creation of these structures of how the world works. And we've talked about this before. So I'll move this over a little bit. My diagram that I use all the time. So our self-conscious has decided, our self-conscious has the role of, how does the world work? How does it work? Like, what do we need to know about it? And so then we go to our unconscious, which is only going from what we've lived in this lifetime, what we have experienced, and it will give us structure. It will give feedback to the self-conscious. So the self-conscious wants to know how the world works. The unconscious wants to stay safe and only do what has been experienced or what has been downloaded, let's say, in your ancestral codes. So it is a limited perception of what is possible. Now, a miracle is when we look at unlimited possibilities, that there's many possibilities, but because we're in a structure that we've created rules around what is possible and what isn't, it's coming from a limited place. And that's the difference. That's the difference between creating miracles in your life and wishing and hoping for a miracle, is that it is dependent on your perception of that situation, which is dependent on the rules and structure that you've created in your life. And obviously, doing the recodes and doing the work we do, it is possible to shift that perception. So the self-conscious wants to know how the world works, and the unconscious just wants to keep it safe and do what we know. So we go back into this loop, and it's created this outside structure that has decided what you have permission to receive, what's possible, what you have permission, because it's like the permission that I can't have it all. I can't have, this loving relationship. I can't have financial abundance. I can't have this, because you've created a structure where it said that whether it's possible or not possible. So what is happening in this moment is the unconscious is coming up with rule structures of what you're allowed to have. And so this is where, when we understand that, and so when you're in that situation, when you're asking for a miracle, actually break it down, and we can see the structures that we've created, that's where things are limited. And that's what I want to talk about today, is that structure, our belief system, our rule structure. So when we want to create a miracle, we have to work as a whole being. We have to work as this whole concept of superconscious, unconscious, and self-conscious. Because this egoic agenda that the self-conscious has now attached its identity to, of what is possible and what isn't, will limit what you create and what you can expect of how things are going to show up. So there's a metaphor that has been used, which it talks about a man who is praying. He's in a flood area and he's asking for a miracle. He's asking for a miracle. And he's going, please God, save me from these high flood waters. And so and I'm sure many of you have heard this metaphor before. So he's praying. His next door neighbors come and say, hey, we've got a boat. We've got to get out of here. He goes, no, I'm a God-loving man. I'm praying to God that he will save me. And they leave. And then another boat comes along, which is the rescuer, which is, the local neighborhood rescuers, like, are you ready to leave? Like, the waters are rising, you need to come with us. And he goes, no, I'm a God-loving man. I'm waiting here for God to save me. I know God will save me. And as the waters rise, he goes to the roof and a helicopter comes and they come down and say, hold, let us rescue you. We'll throw down a rope and we'll save you. He goes, no, I'm a God-loving man. I'm praying to God and God will rescue me. So needless to say, sad story, the man ended up drowning. The waters got too high. And when he got to heaven, and remember, this is a metaphor, so don't take anything if too religious or dogma about it. When he gets to heaven, he says to God, why didn't you save me? I was such a faithful servant. I prayed and I believed in you. And God says, I sent you a car. I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. And you didn't take any of them. And so the premise of that story is that we don't know how our miracles are going to show up. And how we block many manifestations is that we believe it has to come a certain way. So, and with the structures we've created, we make it seem that it has to be a certain way. And so when we rise to the higher states of consciousness, the higher mind, come from the superconscious perspective, we can start to see unlimited possibilities. And we can see, and then we get a chance to choose that possibility of what we want to bring into our physical life. Does that make sense? Like, does that, that story and how that works, like to see that miracles aren't beyond our control. They're not some other thing. It's just the structure that we have lived in, the structure we've created has made them feel impossible. But when we go to the superconscious mind and go to unlimited possibilities, and that's where we get to choose our highest path. So what we want to do is we want to rise above the structure we've created. We want to rise above the limited possibilities of how things are going to show up to us. And we're going to choose. And that's where true choices come in. And that's where the process of what we do in these programs of when we use the life mapper in the lenses and we go into the mind, the creative mind, and go, what could I do? And let yourself open up. And you do steps, you go into meditation and you're training your unconscious and self-conscious to see things from an unlimited point of view or one of multiple possibilities. So when we say you've got to be it before you see it, and you've got to be the all, like be the all now. Be the all now is like, and this is where people get stuck a little bit when they think, well, I'm asking for financial abundance and I don't feel financially abundant. I don't have it. It's not showing up. It's not evident in my bank account. It's not evident in my life. But to be the all, Samara. Hi, Samara. But to be the all is to actually see all possibilities, is to get to that higher state of mind where you can actually see all possibilities. So the secret to unplugging from the old structure is to identify that there are unlimited possibilities, to actually just go, okay, there's more than this. There's things I don't understand, and to be okay with that. You may not understand how things show up, but to be open-hearted. So this is where we use our heart space to be open-hearted. Don't overthink it. Like, this is when we overthink how things are meant to show up. And, you know, that's when some people say, let go, let God. That's when you let go, let God, to sort of like, let it show up in different ways. Let it show up as your neighbor coming to save you, or the helicopter. If you believe it has to be that you're going to be saved by, you know, some man coming down with on a cloud or a white light, then you're actually restricting yourself. I mean, obviously that is a metaphor, but the idea of a miracle, and when we give our power away, that it's something that is impossible, that it's something that's beyond us, or something that needs divine intervention, we disconnect from our true self. We disconnect from remembering who we truly are. And who we are creators, and we are divine expression. We are expressions of the divine. And that is our remembering that we can have. And a miracle is our ability to shift perception, our ability to change beliefs. And that's when we see true miracles happen. And so we're creating miracles every day. So as soon as we decide, I think it was Wayne Dyer who said, you know, I did write it down in case I forgot. So it's like, so when change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So it's like, when we're so anchored in that it has to be one certain way, we are preventing and blocking unlimited possibilities. And that's what a miracle is that we're opening up to the all. We're opening up to the unlimited, the superconscious. And the miracle mindset is here in the superconscious. And so that's when we are asking for that miracle or divine guidance, we are connecting to what we always have access to. It's not beyond us. It's not outside of us. It's not, you know, waiting for a lightning bolt to come down. It's to be open to messages and guidance on how to receive it. We don't know how it's going to come. And so this is what I want to talk about today, is that, you know, be open, but become from that mindset of unlimited possibilities. Rise above the current rule structure. So there's another metaphor that if we want to use it, as the turbulent sea. And we're a boat on the turbulent sea, and we're getting knocked around by our reality and the structure that it has to be. The structure we've created is this boat, and we're being knocked around by this reality and forgetting that we are connected. And so if you imagine that we have magical powers and we can rise above that turbulent ocean, rise above, and we can see, then we start to see all the possibilities, all the different waves that we can connect to. That's when we choose our highest potential, our highest timeline, our highest true choice, and anchor that into our physical reality. It's like when you rise above the turbulent ocean, you may see that there is sun and a beautiful calm sea not far away. You may see the way forward. And that's what rising above this structure. And when you see yourself getting into things with even the terminology of this is impossible or this is how it is, understand that's when you're working within a limited structure. That's when you're working in that limited mindset. And the miracle mindset is when we go to the all, unlimited possibilities. This could happen. So when we do our lenses and we talk about this could happen, or what could I do, you're starting to spark that miracle mindset of possibility. So when we're asking for that miracle, let your mind wander. What could be the ultimate possibility? Or just open to that, getting guidance about, well, the end result is this, but not to get locked up in how you're going to receive it. Not to get locked up into that egoic agenda of trying to solve, this is how the world works. Because there's so many things we don't know. And that's when we free ourselves from the slave codes of this limited structure that the self-conscious has created to justify its existence in this world. The self-conscious, from its experience, is just trying to justify how the world works, what it's perceived, but it's not tapping into that true wisdom that we have, that unlimited possibilities that we have. So we'll just go. So when we have the self-conscious, we need all parts to work. We can't just go up. So when we go into the recode and we have those 2 points in time, this is what I want to create. And we visualize it in the superconscious and the miracle mindset into the unlimited sea of possibilities, the unlimited waves that are of different timelines. This is up here. But many of us then just leave it up here. But we need to anchor it, and we need the self-conscious. The self-conscious is so important because the self-conscious gives us the willingness to see it through and anchor it into the physical. The unconscious, when we set the unconscious up, and this is the end goal, is to set the unconscious up that, it just works for us. We're not constantly trying to reprogram old limited structures. But at the moment, there's many limited structures and they may always show up, but we can choose different. So when we go up to the superconscious and we say, okay, this is the end result I want. This is my desire. And then we bring it down with the visualization to retrain the unconscious that, yes, this is safe. This is safe. We can have this desire. And then the unconscious, we'll bring it down into the self-conscious and we will learn how to create it. So what's happening down here also is the egoic agendas. Maybe I don't feel enough. Maybe I'm not capable. This isn't how the world works. Then we can neutralize that egoic agenda by realizing it is a limited structure we created at another time in our life. And we neutralize it through recode. We neutralize it through age regression or going back into just the awareness that there are unlimited possibilities. And you just keep going back in and retraining. And then that egoic agenda, even though it may still be active, it no longer has power over you because we've observed it, we've acknowledged it. It no longer is that aspect that it's absolute, this is how it is. We can loosen that hold on you so it can be like, oh, there are other possibilities. And when you know that the old egoic agenda that comes up, maybe trying to resolve being enough, trying to resolve perfectionism, needing permission to have it all, needing permission, that's a big one, like the egoic agenda that many of us have created in childhood is like, you can't have everything. You can't have that. You can't, we're told that life's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to come to you that easy or things like that. So it's like resolving that egoic agenda, but neutralizing it, knowing that it's there, but knowing that it's a false premise and knowing that we can still choose what we want anyway. To move into that place to think that it's no longer going to be active, that ego is no longer going to test you, no longer going to give you questions of why you're choosing certain things or thinking that certain things are possible, and you've got that little voice in your head saying, what are you, crazy? can't have that. You of all, you can't have everything. You're not capable. You're not enough. You're not worthy to have that. Knowing that's a false premise. And that goes back to the Course in Miracles. It's like choosing the false light construct, the false construct to the correct one. And the correct one is always coming from superconscious, because that's where we came from. This is where we started. Everything is mind, in the universal mind, everything. This miracle mindset is where we came from. Life, you hear that life is a miracle. Well, we created life. We created this body with our connection to our superconscious. So when we tap back into this infinite wisdom, we can start retraining and stop letting the self-conscious and egoic agenda run our lives, and we can take back our power. So when we ask for a miracle, when we ask for that miracle and we are putting it outside of ourselves, we're putting it bigger than ourselves, we can ask for it and allow it to come in multiple ways, allowing us to see things differently. And maybe it starts with the question, how can I see things differently? Or maybe you go to bed at night and you say, tomorrow I will know what to do. You're accessing that unlimited wisdom. Tomorrow I will know what to do. And that's why when we do the recode and at the end we ask, what is the next right step? Getting the guidance from the infinite wisdom, your miracle mindset. So we're going to go do a recode and just see if I've covered. I think I've covered most of the things I've written down here. Yeah, so let's go into a recode. So maybe you have a true choice that you want to work on, and that's cool. Or maybe there is something that you've asked for a miracle. Maybe there is something that, gee, I wish there was a miracle with this. So let's shift our perspective and see what shows up. Let's remove the resistance that something is impossible or something that is beyond us. And let's ask for guidance. Let's ask for connection to our infinite wisdom and to multiple possibilities, to be able to see things differently, to be able to shift our perspective of a certain situation. Because that is the miracle. And if we can all access that part of us, the world will be a much different place. Then we are moving from a place of creation. So I want you now to connect in with that. Does everyone have a choice? Does everyone have some, a desired end result that they want to work on? Just put in the chat. And I'll just check over on Facebook. Oh, yeah, some people joined a bit late. That's okay. That's okay. I hope I've explained things well enough about our miracle mindset and where we're going. So feel free to go back and listen to the beginning. And so I want you now to get into that end choice. And we're going to reduce the resistance around what we think is impossible. Tapping in to this higher mind, our unlimited possibilities, our ability to see all possibilities. And that's when we become the all. The all, as in we can see all possibilities. And that is the start of taking your power back, being sovereign in your life. And knowing that there are choices you can make, that you are the dominant creative force in your life. And that a miracle is simply when we feel that there's something that shows up that feels beyond us, that is showing us that we have a structure that has been created, that is a limited structure, that has created what is possible, what isn't. And we can unplug from that. Unplug from that old structure that saw things that it had to be one way. Okay? So think about, I want you to just relax. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And just take a deep breath in and out. And I want you now just to go to that beautiful end result, that desire, that wish, that true choice that end result, that thing that you've been wanting to create, that thing that you want, that thing, that experience that you've been wanting to create. And I want you to go there and just feel into it. What are you doing in this end result? When you've achieved it, what is it allowing you to do? How is your life different? Who's with you? How does the world look from this perspective? What do you look like from this new perspective? And just feel into that end result. Feel into it. What are some of the emotions? It'll be excitement, optimism, joy, love, abundance in all areas, freedom, laughter, connection. What does it feel like? The feeling of freedom, that feeling of like there's so many choices open to you, and you've actually chosen this higher timeline. Empowerment. And I want you just to feel in there, just keep going, just enjoy this imagery, this vision of this end result, this choice that has escaped you until now, this true choice. And just love it. Just love it. What are you doing when you've totally received this end choice, when you've totally got it, when you've been? And just feel into that. And I want you now to put this desired end result. It's like you're putting it in a bubble, and you're putting it at the right-hand side of your mind. Putting it in a bubble. And I want you now to come back to the present moment. Open your eyes. Come back to the present moment. And what is the difference between that end result and where you are now? What's the difference? What does it feel like? I'll just check the Facebook. What's the difference? Feels overwhelmed? Feels like a lot of work. Maybe it feels like a lot of work to get to that end result, which can cause overwhelming. Maybe you feel like you're not capable, not worthy, like just, how can I have that? How can I get that? What are some of the other things? What are some of the other things? You can put them in the chat, share if you wish. So feeling overwhelmed, feeling like impatient, frustration. You may feel confused that you don't know what to do. Mostly not capable, yeah. It's a big one. It's like, what other thing can I do? I don't know enough to get there. I don't know what the next step is. I don't know how to do that. And that is definitely an old structure, an old egoic agenda that I don't have all the information. And it's like what we do have in our spiritual growth is, yes, we always have access to this. We've just forgotten how to use it. Remember, this superconscious mind is what sent the message down to create this physical body. If you were asked, how do you do that? You wouldn't know yourself. Now you don't know, but you know it happened. It was created. So just to unplug from that not being capable or not knowing what to do, it's a really big one. Open to it. How can I manifest? Yeah. So we want to be open to it. And then we get into the how, right? We get into how is this going to happen? And focus on the end result and then sort of come back. And maybe that we sometimes expect the how to be a big step. And sometimes the small steps are what we're given first. You know, if we're praying for God to save us and our next door neighbor shows up and said, hey, hop in the car, you think that's too easy. It's way too easy. How can I just do that? But it may be a simple step. It may be an introduction. It may be a phone call. It may be, you know, clearing your workspace so you can have more clarity. It could be something very simple to be the first step to creation. But we get tapped in that maybe it needs to be bigger than what we think. There will be a time for massive action. There will be a time for maybe big steps, but often it's the smaller steps that get us there. And it's when we do create the end result. Sometimes we think, oh, well, it was all these little steps. Now, I want you to sort of think, what is the feeling if you don't achieve this end result? If it doesn't happen, how does that make you feel? If it doesn't happen the way you want it to, if you allow yourself to go there, what are the feelings that come up? Unworthiness, failure. So we're creating those 2 points in time, one where we're at that end result, where it's been created already in the mind, and we're in the physical reality where we're trying to understand how the world works. We're spinning our wheels, trying to understand it. And so understanding our greatest fear in the present, disappointed in self and not good enough. Yeah. So we get into this egoic agenda of that's our self-sabotage of, oh, well, I can't do it. So we're trying to resolve this feeling of not good enough. But when we have it, it won't allow us to. Instead of just, that's where we go into being the all of just, there's lots of opportunities I can choose. Because we've made it personal when it gets to about, I'm not capable. And we've made it personal when it's like, I don't know how to do this, or how do I do this? They're waiting for these big steps, waiting for it to show up in a certain way. And I have fallen to that so many times of like, oh, well, it needs to be, I want it to be this way. And I do. And sometimes it happens, but most of the time it'll happen in a different way and show up in a way that you never expected. And it was probably better, but the same emotion. The same emotion. That excitement, that fulfillment, you'll get that, but it's maybe shown up in a way you didn't expect, but is more aligned to your path. It's not feeding egoic agendas. It's not feeding other things. So we've got the 2 points in time. The 2 points in time. So now let's do the recode. We've got our 2 points. Close your eyes, relax your shoulders. And if everyone can give me permission, whether you're online, on Facebook, or watching the replay, you can verbally put permission in the chat box, or you can say it out loud, but just to give me permission to tap in to your superconscious and to give new instructions. Thank you. Close your eyes, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath in and out. Superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, do you see this end result? Do you see this true desire? Do you see all the resistance around this desire? Are all aspects, part personalities, ready to create the best and perfect treatment plan to bring you closer to this end result? No. Superconscious, can we please treat all aspects, all part personalities, and please tell them the advantages of treatment, that they're going to stop losing time and that a mono personality works best. And let them know that all their learnings and teachings will not be lost when they become part of the superconscious creative personality, the main personality that is in that end result. Nothing will be lost. It'll just grow. Please treat all worries and resentments. The worries and resentments of why it hasn't happened yet. That it's not for me. Please treat the egoic agendas of feeling not capable and not enough. Please tag and treat all egoic agendas on all timelines, all dimensions, ancestral, past life, soul contracts that were made that have kept us plugged into this old framework. Superconscious, can we treat the alignment with desire, aligning to desire, and treat the following statements? I trust. I am enough. I am willing. Please tap into the self-conscious. I am willing to do what is needed. I'm willing to receive information. I'm willing to see things differently. And please treat the belief that you can't have it all. Please treat the belief that you can't have it all. And you now have permission from the highest realm, the highest mind. You now have permission to have it all. You now have permission. And please use this statement on all levels, all ages, all timelines, all dimensions, all part personalities. You have permission to have it all. And I want you to feel that on a soul level. You have permission to have it all. Please do a massive change history and everything else that's needed in the best and perfect way. Superconscious, please treat all the rules that we've made of how things are meant to happen, on how the world works. Can we release the structure, unplug, just unplug from the old structure of how the world works? So we tap into that, the true ancient wisdom of the alchemists who unplugged from how things worked and changed using the metaphor of changing lead into gold. Moving out of suffering to enlightenment, moving from slavery to freedom. Unplugging from that old slave structure, that limited structure. And I want you to see when you unplug, you actually rise up. To see the metaphor where you rise up above the turbulent seas and you see all the different waves. The waves that will take you to your highest timeline. And you can, from this higher perspective, from the higher mind, you can choose this higher perspective, this higher timeline, to see all possibilities, to see things differently. Superconscious, please treat this statement as I have permission to have it all. I have permission to choose the highest timeline. I get to choose. And how that comes to me. Please do a massive change history and everything else that's needed in the best and perfect way. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat the perfectionist identity who's made these rules of how the world works, that it has to be a certain way. And refocus our attention on new ways. I want you to use the metaphor, if anyone, the old fax machine, that was a way, and how things change with messaging, and we can now do things from the higher mind. Once it was sending a letter through the post, which was slow and depended on others. One was faxing, and then we have emails and Wi-Fi, and things just get sent automatically. There's no wait. That's where we can shift. We know that things can change. We can see many possibilities. Things do not have to stay the same. Please treat the metaphor that things do not have to stay the same. You don't have to keep doing things the same way. We are raising our consciousness. We are higher frequency beings. We're higher vibrational beings than we've seen before. So we can start living differently. We can start living more connected to our superconscious. We have access to our higher mind, and just unplug that we know how it's going to be. Superconscious, please treat all secondary intentions about wanting this end result. Please treat all secondary intentions and all broken agreements that you've made with yourself and others have made with you, where you've now doubted. Where you doubted the ability of unlimited possibilities. Please treat and tag these in the best and perfect way. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat all body systems, the chakras. Please treat the root chakra. Allow the energy to flow, connecting to that kundalini, sparking that energy, that you have the freedom, that you belong, that you are safe. You have the freedom. And allow that energy to move through to the sacral, to the solar plexus, heart chakra, moving this energy up to feel unlimited possibility, moving up through the throat, clearing all the unwillingness, the getting trapped into old matrices, old structures, the willingness to see things differently. Please clear the throat chakra, front and back. Please clear the third eye, front and back. Allow you to see the future clearly, to know all that is, and to see your future clearly, and have faith and trust in that. Superconscious, please clear the crown chakra so you can receive this divine intelligence, this next right step. Allow that energy to flow freely on all energy systems in the best and perfect way. Please treat cellular memory. Clear cellular memory of old structures and fear structures, and allow them to spark with joy at the thought of following your desires, of unlimited possibilities. Your cellular memory is unlimited possibilities, that they can receive it. And they're sparking with beautiful white light, that they're ready to receive this new intelligence. Superconscious, please treat and tag all remaining resistance to this end result on all dimensions, and work on this end result after this session to bring all resistance down to zero, being no resistance to the miracle mind, the miracle mindset of ultimate unlimited possibilities, to be connected to the all. and using that as your anchor to download new instructions. Superconscious, please ground all memories that we've touched on today. Conscious memories, tandem memories, ego states, future memories, past life, ancestral, soul memories, cellular memories. Please ground memories 1, 2, and 3, conscious, unconscious, superconscious. And please ground them into the physical benevolent matrix of this unlimited framework. The unlimited framework of 5D Mother Gaia energy, this highest frequency of unlimited possibilities, one of magic, one of choice, one of freedom, and anchor this in the best and perfect way. Thank you. And I want you now, just before you come back, to go back and think about that end result. Go back and think about that desired end result, and feel into it and love it. And just think there's unlimited possibilities that can bring that forward to you. And just put your hand on your heart and take a deep breath in. And bring all your thoughts down to your heart, because your heart is a portal to your higher mind. And ask for that next right step to be guided, that you'll know what to do. Tomorrow or today, you will know what to do. I will know the next right step, and I will know what to do. And be open to all guidance. Be open to all guidance that shows up. Write it down. Keep up with the consistency, the work. Tap into that end result. Tap into that miracle mindset every day of unlimited possibilities. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. How was that, ladies? And gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen watching the replay, how was that? How do you feel? How does the feeling of miracles feel now? Does it feel something that is attainable, something that you can tap into, that miracle mindset, tap into unlimited possibilities? That something is within reach as in you get to see the many waves that are to choose from, and that all is available to you. And the only thing that has kept you stuck was the limitation of the structure, what you saw possible. And when we move into the realms of possibility, that's when we can become true creators. Thank you, everyone. And this is a beautiful gift of, let's say, the Christmas miracle mindset. Let's all, I wish everyone a beautiful Christmas. I think there is another session next week, and then there will be a break or a different timetable for me anyway for that week in between Christmas and New Year, as I'm doing a big move over the next month. So I want to wish everyone, just go and let yourself think the impossible and see how it is possible. So perfect for me right now. So much love. Same to you, Samara. So much love to you, and so much love to everyone else. Thank you, Margie. Thank you so much. And from my heart to yours, I'm sending you love and miracles. Okay, and I will see you very soon. And if you have any questions, send me a message. Connect. I'm here to answer any questions or offer any guidance if you require it. Okay, much love. Bye.